obviously a tough loss being undefeated, but we know what the Big Ten is going to be this year. It's going to be brutal. You have to learn things from a loss, all right? And I'd like to ask what maybe they might have done different than other teams have done, and how disappointed are you with the offense in the overtimes? It's not the first time it happened here in overtime.
Yeah, listen, I mean, our guys, like, great effort. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them, win or lose. This is a great group. Obviously, when you win a game or lose a game like this, the margin for error is small, right? Like, we score one of those shots in the overtimes and we're totally different, but that's kind of where we are in close games. And we've won some close games. This one didn't go our way. So like any week, you know, like we kind of give them Saturday and Sunday to kind of get away. And then Monday we'll pile through the film. You know, we'll talk as a staff tomorrow and kind of look at, these are the things we did well. And like any game, there are some good things we did. But then there are some things that we need to clean up and do better. And obviously, when you play teams that know you and you know them, there's, you know, familiarity. So at the end of the day, I think there's definitely some plays we'd like to have back and maybe some things that I could have done better to help the guys. And I'll put that on me because that's, to me, the way it works. But again, give credit to them. They made one more play than us, but there were some positives. You know, I look at Jonah Carrier, came off the bench and did a great job. We were kind of struggling early at the X and did an awesome job. So I'm proud of him for that. We were down 2 goals in the fourth quarter and kind of fought back to get that, which was great. I think the goal is not put ourselves in that spot. You know, got to go back and look at some things, and offensively, you know, kind of look and go, all right, you know, are there some things that maybe we could do better to help our guys? I mean, you know, you go basically 7 periods or 5 quarters and you give up 10 goals, like that should be enough, right? So, and again, it's not lack of effort for the guys. Sometimes it's decision making, you know, sometimes it's schematically, sometimes you know, we just didn't capitalize on some opportunities. So we'll learn from that. We'll help the guys. And again, another big one next week. So we got to keep getting better. And if we won today, I would tell you a lot of the same things.
What is it about Michigan? 4 in a row now. What do they do that always seems to kind of gum up the works?
I mean, you got 2 1-goal games, you know, and we're 10-4 all time. Now, I think the biggest difference in the last 4 is the only thing that's really changed is Scott Bita. And Scott Bita is an awesome offensive coordinator. He does a tremendous job. Since he's gotten there, they're just tricky, and I think Will would be the first to tell you, like, they're just super organized. They have a good plan. It was very apparent they were going to work deep into the shot clock, shorten the game, and just kind of wait for a really good shot. And you kind of knew that because at halftime of the Notre Dame game, you know, you could, you know, if you watch the TV copy, the coaches talked about we need to be more patient. You know, we got to value the ball better. And that's the beauty of the season. You know, when you have a game like that, you know, you've learned that, and unfortunately the hard way. So all week you're preaching, let's work for a good one, work for a good one, work for a good one. And I thought they did a good job. I mean, they came out and I think scored 3 out of their top 4, but they got some good looks. And then, you know, I think eventually we settled in a little bit, which was good. But again, I think there's definitely some things that I think our guys would like to have back, certainly some things that I would do differently. But at the end of the day, like somebody asked me the same thing about like an early season game like Syracuse, like I don't really look at it that way. I don't, like, each year is different, each team is different. You got different guys for both squads. They're just, you know, every Big Ten and ACC team has good players. You know, they just do.
Looks around the cage. Can you just delve a little bit into what you thought some of their tactics were to get those looks? And then, like you kind of said, how did you adjust to that?
Yeah, they do a great job in the pick game. You know, and then you got to navigate the picks. You got to be on point with, you know, are you switching? You know, are you staying with matchups? Then you kind of have to read, you know, is he going to get through? And they put him in good spots. They definitely do. They cheat as much as you can in terms of, like, is he moving? Is he not moving? And again, that's part of the art of it. You know, is can you nudge a little bit, move a little bit, and you know, those are sometimes very difficult calls to make. But if you can kind of push that line, it makes it even harder. So at times, they got leverage off the picks. Other times, we just didn't communicate well, and they got some good leverage as well. And at times when they had good matchups, we slid to support, and then we just didn't help inside. So again, credit to those guys. Again, they started off pretty hot. I think both offensives played pretty well in the first half. And then obviously the third quarter was really the biggest difference, right? They outscored us 4-1. So that's something we got to look at as well.
Coach, some tough things to take away, but also, like you were saying, some positives. Could you speak on some of those, whether it be Daniel Kelly getting his hat trick?
Yeah. I mean, Daniel played well. Again, I thought defensively, given everything, you're giving up basically, 10 goals through, basically, or 11 goals through, 7 periods, if you want to say it. It's 11 goals through 5 periods, because with the overtimes, it's almost like one extra one. So that's not a bad day. I mean, we should be able to get to 12 goals, but everything works together. You kind of look, and if they're going to go deep in the shot clock, you're just not getting that many possessions. Obviously, first quarter, we're 1 of 7 facing off, but again, I thought Jonah came in and flipped a script in the second quarter, and then it was kind of like a dogfight after that. So we have high hopes for Jonah. He's done a really good job. Again, I thought our wing play was good. Again, just little things here and there that we got to clean up, some situational stuff that I think we can play a little bit better. But our guys are great. I love this group. They're going to come back. They're going to work hard. We'll learn from it. We'll just keep growing. Even when we win, it's the same approach. There's a good group. We're in a pretty good spot given everything that we've seen so far this year. And we just got to keep getting better. And as we see different things, we've got to kind of adjust and adapt and realize, like, there's film on every game that we have, and obviously people are going to kind of look at this, and we got to kind of anticipate, all right, what are people going to do, and make sure we put our best foot forward going forward, and then just stick together, right? Clean up some stuff. We got a good group, no doubt about it.
Daniel, you guys had some scoring droughts today, obviously in the overtime.
Will. Oh, that's Schaller.
Oh, sorry, Will. What is it about their kind of offense that makes it tough for you guys kind of to push the pace on the other side?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like Coach said, their offensive coordinator, Coach Beta, does a good job with their pick play, and they're super organized, and they play together well. Obviously, you look at them 3 years ago, their pieces look a little bit different than they do this year, but kind of the man at the helm doesn't change for them, and he works with what he has well. So got to tip your cap to them. For having a good plan, and I think we had a great plan too, and we played them tough for 5 periods, and at the end of the day, it's a game of inches. 1 goal is a difference for them, 1 goal is a difference for us. But again, some mistakes and things we definitely have to clean up that make the difference in that 1 goal. At the same time, the sun's going to come up tomorrow. Like, I have a lot of faith in the group that we have, and the group that we're going to become. You don't want to peak on March 22nd. Like, that's not going to do you any good down the road. So we got to just keep improving and keep having faith and trust in what we buy into, and we're going to be in good shape.
So they moved Cohen all over the field. First half, he's dodging up top a lot. Second half, it seemed like you guys contained him a little better. What did you guys do at halftime to actually look a little more aggressive? You guys were fully going after on those jumping early slides.
Yeah, I mean, I think with a guy like that, again, like every week, a lot of appreciation for the scout guys and the look that they give to us during the week. And I think there's so much to be said for them and how they compete in practice, and the job that they do for us to kind of get us prepared. So I'm grateful for those guys. But you just over the course of the 8 games we played so far, you cover a lot of different guys from a lot of different places, so you kind of just continue to grow that wealth of knowledge that you have and who you're guarding, and just about supporting to guys in certain areas and understanding from the film and tendencies that those guys have, knowing where those spots are, knowing where those spots aren't, and at the same time, like, being 6/7 parts as opposed to one guy guarding the ball and their best player versus the five other guys out there. So that's kind of how we look at it, and I think we're best when we play that way.
Coach, you talk about the Big Ten schedule versus the non-conference. I'll ask Will as well. it's different. They're different games. It's like the first 7 games were more like finesse and whatever, and then you come back here and you knew it was going to be a rock fight
yeah.
today. I mean, it was. Well, I mean, you knew what to expect. I mean, it has been. It's not going to change just because he got beat bad by Notre Dame. That's not a big deal. And how do you instill that, or is the team fully aware of that, or was today a good learning lesson, maybe?
I think I thought you were talking to him. I think
Either
every week's a good learning lesson. There's just so much, that each game, the experience provides. And we talked about it. The kids heard it all week. Just the league games are different. It's like the AFC North. It's just everybody knows each other. The games are kind of slugfest. You have some moments of like getting up and down in transition, but there's still there's times where you're just gonna have to dig in, and they did a good job of just kind of digging into every possession, and most of the possessions were really long, and it does grind you down, and defensively you just got to be really, again, on point, communicate, and no breakdowns. And then at that point, you got to make sure you get it out. We had a couple, I think, opportunities in transition we'd love to have back. And you go down there, you play a ton of defense, you come down, you don't score, and now you're going right back down again. So that can be problematic. But again, a lot of good things too. A lot of things we can build off of. Given who's playing, with us, especially at the midfield, so many of those guys were new. Jonah is new. Thomas Scavino, Zach Gorno. We got a lot of new pieces in there. So overall, the guys have done a good job. And again, we're inches away from getting another one, and unfortunately it didn't go our way. Some have. So again, got a good group. We got all we need right here. We just got to coach them up better, bounce back, and get ready for another really tough game at home, and prep up and enjoy the moment and keep getting better and stick together.